Bob Iger is back in the saddle as Disney CEO. Will Smith's Emancipation premieres in LA. Plus, Oscar season kicks off with the Gotham Awards.
It's all coming up right now on The Take. Hey everyone, and welcome to The Take. I'm Elizabeth Wagmeister.
And I'm Clayton Davis, and we're here to give you our take on some of the week's biggest stories. It was a little busy this week.
A little bit busy, and you just got off a plane from New York. You were at the Gotham Awards.
It's good to be home.
You had the seat of the night. You were at Adam Sandler's table, and it was a huge night for him. Break it all down.
Yep, the Gotham Awards kicking off award season in New York fashion, where A24's Everything Everywhere All at Once was the big winner, winning Best Feature and Best Supporting Performance for Ke Kwan, best known for his roles in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and The Goonies, making a great comeback this season, bringing the audience to tears. He's the current frontrunner for Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars. Other big winners included Danielle Deadwyler, surprisingly winning lead performance for her work in Till, beating out Ke Kwan's co-star Michelle Yeoh, in addition to Cate Blanchett for Tar and Brendan Fraser for The Whale. Unfortunately, she wasn't in attendance, but this is great momentum for her campaign. The big moments included multiple tributes, which included Michelle Williams talking about her grams from Dawson's Creek, in addition to Adam Sandler bringing down the house, talking about his life through his daughter's eyes for Hustle. He receives a performance tribute. It was actually hilarious. Sitting with him and Ted Sarandos, the head of Netflix. He is the funniest guy. He is, I wish he was my dad. I can only imagine what that would be like.
Well, his speech was written by his daughters.
But he nailed every moment. The audience was laughing. And another big moment that I didn't mention was Gina Prince Bythewood, who received a director tribute, who's director of The Woman King, and getting that tribute from Catherine Bigelow, first woman to ever win Best Director for The Hurt Locker. I think this bodes well for her campaign.
Well, I mean, first, to kind of wrap the bow on this Adam Sandler moment, it's been so really cool to see his career transform from being a comedic actor for all these years into some more dramatic roles, getting a ton of praise. He actually, on the carpet that night at the Gotham, spoke to our very own Mark Malkin about his next role in the next Safdie Brothers film. Yep. But this night was all about Hustle. After the Gothams, how do you think that this shakes up the Oscar race?
I mean, if everyone does what they did that night, I think they'll all be on the Oscar nomination list when those are announced in January.
All right, well, someone else who very well could be on the Oscar nomination list is Will Smith. Now, after the slap heard around the world at the Oscars last year when Will Smith won his first Oscar for Best Actor, he is gearing up for another Oscars race, even though he has been banned by the Academy to attend the actual Academy Awards ceremony for the next 10 years. Even though he is banned from attending, he very well could be nominated. He could even win. He wouldn't be there to accept his award, but he could win an Oscar. And with his latest role in Emancipation, he is getting great reviews and has just started to kick off on a press tour of sorts. Now, this week, Will Smith, he was on Trevor Noah. This was really his first big, lengthy sit-down interview since he has apologized for slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. He said that this experience has humbled him, that he's learned. Trevor Noah spoke a lot about redemption for human beings. Now, he also had his first red carpet event. This week, he was in LA for the premiere of Emancipation. Our own Angelique Jackson spoke to him on the carpet. So we're seeing Will Smith come out after kind of being in hiding for quite some time. He's talking about how he hopes that his actions don't impact Anton Fuqua, the director, and the other crew members and creatives who worked so hard on this film. But you wrote a column, you've seen the film, you say it is perhaps the best work of Will Smith's entire career. And to steal your line, you said that Will Smith is in between a Chris Rock in a hard place. What do you mean by that, Clayton?
I've waited so long to use that line. So listen, the movie's great. I think the movie is great. It's going to be divided among critics, which we are seeing right now. I think there is going to be a clear divide. In that same column, I reference the chances of him getting nominated feels like Trump 2016. Not comparing the two men in the slightest. Let me just clear that up. But no one said out loud that they were voting for Trump. But when it came time to put the pen to the pad, they just did. And I think that's a possibility that can still happen for him. But the movie's going to have some uphill battles. It's in theaters now for a week, and then it goes on the platform, Apple TV, next week. I don't know how it plays at home, and that's going to be a big question. It demands your attention. But everyone else in it, Ben Foster, Charmaine Bingwa, exquisite performances, and I hope people give it a fair shot.
I think you bring up a good point with those ballots, because I actually learned from your column that it would only take 217 votes to get him on that ballot to be nominated.
Always remember those 1,300 acting branch members are his friends, so we'll see how it goes. But now transitioning to Bob Iger, taking back the reins as CEO of Disney. He took back his post this week, holding a town hall with employees, talking about the organization that is turning 100 years old this year, their commitment to inclusion, which is a good, nice dig at the outgoing CEO, Bob Chapek, who had some controversy regarding the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida earlier in his tenure as CEO. But now he also talked about hiring freezes as the company tries to rebound from stock prices dropping, as well as other companies that are just weary of a recession coming. Now looking at this landscape, Disney is going to this next phase. 100 years, I think we say this out loud, like, oh, it's 100 years old. That is a monumental milestone. And
especially for a company that's celebratory and family-friendly like Disney.
Exactly. And you're looking at your 100th year, you want to go in with as least amount of controversy as possible.
Absolutely.
Now, Bob Iger is the person to do that. And the employees seem to be very, very happy that he's back at the post.
When it comes to Disney, Bob Iger, this is the biggest story that the industry has seen in quite some time.
Yeah.
I think it was no surprise that Bob Chapek was ousted. He was not well liked within Disney. He had a series of blunders, not just the Don't Say Gay bill, also Scarlett Johansson and that whole lawsuit. So, you know, at the time that he was appointed to become the head of Disney, he was the head of the parks. And the parks and the resorts bring in a lot more money than the content business. So in a way that made sense, but Disney is a brand that it resides on its content. Bob Iger is a content guy. He's a creative guy, and he has expressed that he wants to support the creatives at the company. And I think that's why we're all hearing from our sources inside Disney and across the business that people are thrilled that he's back. So we'll see what happens, but this was really one of the most shocking, but one of the most welcome stories that I think we've all seen in quite some time.
We're ready for the next phase of Disney.
All right, well, to wrap up the week, some big news in court this week. Danny Masterson's trial ended with a hung jury and a mistrial. The That 70s Show actor was facing 3 counts of forcible rape and a possible maximum sentence of 45 years to life. Now, the jury had some shakeups towards the end. After getting a break during the Thanksgiving holiday, 2 jurors got COVID, so they had to place in some alternates. Prior to that Thanksgiving break, the jury had already indicated that they couldn't reach a decision and that they were going to be a hung jury. The judge said, go back and go deliberate, but they ultimately told the judge, we are nowhere near a unanimous decision on any of these charges. Most of the charges, the jury was going towards more not guilty than guilty, but this is a mistrial. Right now, they have set a date for March 2023 to retry this case, but we'll see if that even happens. They are all going to convene in January, and this will be a big decision for the LA District Attorney's Office to see, are they going to retry this case, or does Danny Masterson go as a free man? But right now, the charges do still stand.
This always just speaks to our system, our criminal justice system, and how things work. You don't come to a decision, so you either do it again or you're just like, never mind. And that, first of all, is a disservice to probable victims, people that brought this to and put their lives on the line, because there's allegations of threats from different organizations and people regarding coming forward. So I hope that they see their day in court, and if it is a not guilty or guilty, whatever the case is, at least they get to see that play out, and then you can make a decision. But just to see it not move forward would be pretty horrible.
I have to tell you, though, I did see Danny Masterson on the way out of court yesterday. I was there to cover the Harvey Weinstein trial, but the Masterson case was down the hall. I asked him how he felt about the mistrial. He did not give me a comment, but He looked pretty pleased. He had a smile on his face. And as for Weinstein, closing arguments happened this week, so the jury will be deliberating. There should be a verdict on that soon. All right. Thanks as always for joining us right here on The Take, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for watching.